Moving on now, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has met with the APC caucus in the National Assembly in Abuja. This move is in continuation of his consultation for the 2023 presidential ticket of the APC. During the meeting, the former Lagos governor requested the support of the APC caucus in getting the nomination of the party for the presidential race. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa has the story.
Since the 10th of January, when he declared his lifelong ambition to govern Nigeria, former Lagos State Governor and national leader of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, has moved from state to state to canvass for needed support. His campaign train is at the National Assembly in furtherance of his mission to get the buy-in of all stakeholders. At the Senate, the presidential hopeful effortlessly sells his candidature. He wants his hosts to take into consideration his antecedents, capacity, and experience.
My entrance into the politics came in this building. I was first a senator and shall always consider myself part of this body.
Senators, the APC national leader is back on the familiar ground.
In the affair of fighting for APC to continue to be the ruling party in Nigeria, justifiably so, Your Excellency, we are with you.
The train soon moves to the House of Representatives after a closed-door meeting with the senators. Here, the APC legislators came out in their numbers to receive the Jagaban Bogu.
One man who was decided or felt in his heart that he cannot take Nigerians for granted, that he will go and talk to anybody and everybody that cares to listen.
And the APC national leader speaks on his mission to the National Assembly. Bola Tinubu says he remains the most competent and most qualified for the exalted seat.
You are the one, with your votes and your supporters, who can make me succeed President Muhammadu Buhari. I will equally be one of you, part of you, be your partner to forge a future for this country.
From Plateau to Kano, Kogi, Lagos and Borno states, the lawmakers say the former governor has paid his dues.
Virtually every member of House of Representatives around that belongs to the APC family is in this meeting. I am without doubt that the House of Representative caucus of the APC is giving him 100% support.
This Kogi state lawmaker stands out. He belongs to the African Democratic Congress, but says he is here to acknowledge Bola Tinubu's giant strides in politics.
Many people today who are moving around as governor, former governor, if not God that used him as an instrument to raise them, there will be nobody, even those current ministers.
Then came the lawmakers' verdict.
Those of you who are in support of Bola Tinubu to run for presidency and become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2023, say aye.
APC lawmakers from the two chambers of the National Assembly have spoken in one voice. They have pledged their unalloyed support for a man they describe as a colossus and a pillar of their party. Their resolve is to take the campaign for a Bola Tinubu presidency to their constituents. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Joining me now is the organizing secretary, Lagos APC, Ayodele Adewale, joining me via satellite. It's good to have you join me this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Now, a lot of people have said that this move by Bola Tinubu to meet members of the caucus of the National Assembly is one in a very long, rail of politicians, because this does not really happen for aspirants to meet with caucuses of the National Assembly. How significant is this meeting, what would you say?
Well, it's very significant. Like Asiwaju has said, that it is a lifelong ambition. And if you have an ambition, definitely you are going to have a plan.
And over the years, we had this plan on who and who to lobby, who and who to meet, and who to sell his program for a better Nigeria too. And if you also understand, looking at his trajectory, that he was a former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it was his candor and his thinking that also helped Chief Nkewa Abiola to win the ticket for the SDP then, because he was to gun for the Senate president then, and he had to step down. And he, of course, knows that the National Assembly members are also delegates in the National Convention. So it is very wrong if he starts shooting his shot at a blank spot, but he's picking those who are sincerely relevant at the National Convention. And for all of those National Assembly members, they all have a vote to cast in the hour of decision.
All right. Now, we all saw the reaction of members of the National Assembly from the Senate to House of Representatives when he paid the visit, and their reaction. And it seemed there's some level of overwhelming support from them so far. How would you assess this kind of reaction from the National Assembly?
Well, Asiwaju left governance, practical governance, in 2007. From 2007 till now, we have been building bridges, making friends, and building alliances. All of those National Assembly members that ratified him at that meeting had met him one time or the other. And many of them also have enjoyed from his benevolence at one time or the other, inclusive of myself. So they are not new to him. And one thing in politics that is very, very sacrosanct is access. If you don't have access to any candidate or any standard bearer, it becomes very difficult for you to believe or work with that person, even though they are touting or throwing up their program before you. It becomes very difficult for you to believe them. But because you've worked with them in the past, you've seen what they have done in the past, they have proven track record that are people-centered, people-driven, and is full of people's programs. It becomes very easy for you to work with them, align with them, and make sure that they win whatever contest, political contest that they are going for.
All right. Let's talk about your political party, the APC, a little bit. The letter from the president seemed to have laid to rest all the controversies that have been on. I recall recently you and I were on the program here talking about some of these issues where you said everything will be resolved one way or the other. Would you see the president's letter as the final resolution to any controversy as a build-up to the APC convention coming up?
Well, to opine on what you just said, if you remember that the other person that joined me at that interview was saying that Mr. Mala Boni went on medical reach or something like that. And I did say that because of the medical exigency of Mr. Boni, that it created the gap for someone to come in to fill the space and move the party activity forward. And as it is now, Mr. Boni had regained his health status for better, and for the president to have seen that, I believe that is what warranted the president's decision to say that allow Mr. Boni come back to his office to continue his job, and we all moved in unison towards the National Convention.
All right, now let's talk about the issue of voter enlightenment at this time. Political parties have a very critical and pivotal role of creating voter enlightenment. There is much talk about the issue of PVCs and voter registration and all of that. What is your party doing to ensure that the mop up more votes at the coming elections and ensuring that people get their PVCs more than they had in the past?
Well, in conformity with the new electoral law, as my party has been doing before now, is to engage people at the grassroots, making them perform their civic obligation by registering with INEC, especially those who are of voting age. And of course, telling them that if they have any issue with their cards, they should also go back to INEC to reorder whatever that is wrong with their cards. And that is what we have been doing. And also remember that the new INEC law says that the number of accredited voters in a particular polling booth will determine the number of votes that will come out from that booth. So we are very oblivious of that fact, and we are educating people not only to go register, but on the day of election, they must come to accredit themselves at that booth so that their vote will count.
All right. Thank you so much, Ayodele Adewale, for talking to us on the news right now.
Thank you for having me once again.
Great.